Differentiated assessment. We will look at influential persons who have impacted differentiated assessment. Howard Gardner is a developmental psychologist known for his theory of multiple intelligences. Gardner, a professor at Harvard, is a published author of several books and multiple articles. He believed that people have many different ways of learning. In fact, Gardner theorized that people had multiple ways of thinking and learning. He proposed that there are 7 to 10 distinct intelligences. He identified the intelligences in his published book, Frames of Mind. Verbal linguistic intelligence highlights the ability to effectively learn and use languages. Logical mathematical intelligence encompassed the ability to carry out logical or mathematical analysis, detect patterns, examine issues in scientific ways, and engage in deductive reasoning. Another intelligence was visual spatial intelligence. Persons with this intelligence have the ability to visualize and manipulate space and objects as well as recognize patterns in wide space and confined areas. The fourth intelligence described by Gardner was bodily kinesthetic intelligence, which is the capacity to use bodily energy and coordination to express oneself and solve problems. The fifth intelligence is musical intelligence, which consists of the skills to recognize musical patterns, rhythms, tones, and sounds, and to perform and compose songs. Another intelligence Howard Gardner described was interpersonal intelligence. This is the ability to understand the intentions and motivations of other people. Another intelligence is intrapersonal, which is the ability to understand oneself and use such knowledge to regulate one's life. Another multiple intelligence Gardner identified was naturalistic intelligence, is the ability to recognize and categorize plants, animals, and other objects in nature. Howard Gardner also identified existential intelligence, which is a sensitivity to capacity to tackle deep questions about human existence. Gardner's multiple intelligence theory validates educators' everyday experiences. Because students learn and think in different ways, his theory helps educators develop new approaches that might better meet the needs of a range of learners in classes. Robert Marzano. Dr. Robert Marzano is co-founder and CEO of Marzano's Research in Colorado. He is a leading researcher in education. He is an author, speaker, trainer on such topics as instruction, assessment, standards writing and implementation, cognitive effective leadership, and school intervention. Marzano is a leading educational researcher in the instructional practices or strategies. Marzano and his research teams are known for their relevant research, grouping of the research findings, analyzing the results, and calculating the effect that the practice has on learning. Marzano is well known for translating his findings into easily used strategies for teachers and administrators. Marzano also seeks teachers and administrators to implement strategies in the classrooms, schools, districts, and research projects. Robert Marzano partners and collaborates with practitioners to examine the effectiveness of various curriculum, instruction, and assessment practices that utilize formal research techniques. His intent is to inform and change future practices. He argued instruction must reflect the best of what we know about how learning occurs. Robert Marzano believed assessment should focus on students' use of knowledge and complex reasoning rather than recall of low-level information. Carol Ann Tomlinson. Carol Ann Tomlinson has 21 years of educational experience as a public school teacher, program administrator of special services for struggling and advanced learners. Tomlinson's interests have centered around effective instruction in heterogeneous settings and encouraging creative and critical thinking in the classroom. The accomplished author has written over 200 articles, book chapters, books, and professional development materials. She has written and co authored several books on differentiation. Tomlinson emphasized an effectively differentiated classroom also demonstrates the important connections between assessment and the learning environment, and also between assessment and classroom leadership and management. Tomlinson asserted that when teachers regularly use assessment to help students develop competence and a sense of autonomy rather than judging them, then their environment feels safe and more predictable for the students. Teachers who help students understand that differentiated tasks often stem from assessment information help students to get a clearer understanding of the teacher's goal to help each learner take the next appropriate steps in learning. Carol Ann Tomlinson revealed that differentiation requires and promotes discourse about individual needs, goals, and gains, and thus supports acceptance by recognizing the worth of each student.